Yeah, well, I guess it started as a need because recently, because of the pandemic, you've had so many companies shift to be maybe more digital, or maybe some are digital first. We consider ourselves a remote first company. And then that has its own second order effects within workplace culture, which is one of our themes. For example, in our company, we have a lot of asynchronous communication. Instead of waiting to have a meeting that is probably not in person anymore, it's usually over Zoom, we have a lot of communication asynchronously over Slack, where I can send some notes to someone, and then at a later point in the day, that recipient can review them and then get back to me on their own time, without having to wait to schedule a meeting with me or many other people. So you've seen that a lot in the technology industry, specifically with startups. We have a team that spans from Europe all the way down to Australia. We're about 100 people, remote first. We try to give a lot of autonomy to our team. We try to treat people like adults. So you see some of these things being inspired from Silicon Valley. And now they're coming this way and maybe inspiring more traditional businesses in Pakistan. So in the startup industry, you see a lot of companies doing strange things like allowing unlimited leave. You can work whatever days you want to, and if you need to take time off, you can. Similarly, for women, we actually offer every month the ability to take 1 or 2 days off because of those cycles. So we're seeing the shift where more and more companies are addressing their employees as people rather than as resources. I've heard this too many times, and I hate when I hear that, when someone is referred to as a resource instead of a human. So I think a lot of these good shifts are maybe inspiring businesses within Pakistan to do better, because ultimately you'll have this workforce who starts to look for companies who are treating them better. If you have a choice of a place of employment, I would want to work somewhere where I feel empowered, where my company cares about me. So you see that workplace culture is improving drastically, especially in the last 2 years, and that becoming an inspiration for the larger businesses and the more traditional businesses in Pakistan.
I mean, I think the remote first is absolutely, like, Pakistan is a mobile first country. I think being remote first as a company is great. So from a leadership perspective, how easy is it to manage? I understand, I mean, what I believe is that the challenge with the technology part is that it's pretty emotionless. And that person-to-person thing, it brings in that emotional connect, which generally is, I'm sure 5G still won't be able to fix that part. So as a leader, how do you bring that emotional connect with the team, which is so spread out across the globe?
Yeah. So over Zoom, it's definitely a challenge. We try to get people together online, maybe once or twice a week to do activities. We do a coffee session on Fridays where we invite the whole company up to Zoom and maybe share some ideas. And otherwise, I think even though we have this remote company and we have offices across Karachi, Lahore, and Islamabad, we do invite people over as often as we can because that in-person touch is actually really important and underappreciated. So in a remote-first company, that's rather difficult. So keeping track of people when they have so much autonomy, when they can take off whenever they want to, that's also quite difficult. It requires a lot of trust. So I think if you build that trust in the beginning with your workforce, with the people who are on your team, then you hopefully over time will be able to trust them to do the things that they need to do rather than having to watch them like just resources.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'll